This is Weird Renegade Witches Blog. It is up when you want some real motherfucking work done. Of course, go to the website. You could check it out. I haven't updated anything yet because I've been very busy and I've been not investing the time to build more and change frequencies on the website. But however, I'm going to get to that. And you know, I'm already talking to different frequencies in reference to bringing back just a different energies of blog talk. But considering that there's so many podcasts out here, I'm trying to think about something a little different, a little bit more uh, fresh, as they may call it. But as you already know, monthly lessons are going to start this month. But understand monthly lessons are different from the one-on-one frequencies of me working with people one-on-one in addition to work, which work is separate. Or sometimes when we're doing one-on-one work comes up. So understand the monthly lessons is different from me working one-on-one with individuals, okay? That's where it is. However, you already know that art is occultism. Occultism is a motherfucking art. But you know, I kind of wanted to get down to some frequencies that I seen because I wanted to open up with a witchcraft and bewitchery of psychosis and basically spiritual warfare on us and the way we think in our philosophies, right? And it was something very interesting that I seen. Let me see here that I kind of wanted to open up with. And it's funny, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right, but it's Bertrand Russell, a philosopher, a mathematician, an old white person, right? And when I read this frequency, I said, boy, they've been really, planning. And you have to be careful of philosophy because the world is ran under philosophical frequencies, and that's a petition, and that's a form of spell work that has manifested, okay? And at times it can almost be a manifesto, but it also tests your morality and your thought process. The Bible and different, even the Quran and all of those energies are really philosophical, okay? And we don't want to think otherwise, but it's philosophical frequency that you supposed to learn from and understand indirect energies like proverbs, like psalms, just simple stuff like that, just simple wording, folklore. Um and what is very interesting is in this statement it says, when asked how fascism starts, Bertrand Russell replied, first, they fascinate the fools, then they muzzle the intelligence. Let me repeat this. First, they fascinate visual, eyes, ears, mental, social media, the fools, your damn fools out there listening, following the bullshit, and then say people out here on conspiracy theory, they don't know what they talking about. They too old, they this, they that. We need to counsel them. Then they muzzle the intelligence, BET. So let's get down to some understanding. So again, we just ran our asses out of pride. And I want to do a post pride because I've been sitting back because I've been surveying and trying to understand how pride is this year. And with this energy, you can very clearly see that there's an investment in governmental bullshit. It seems as if they have changed the scope of what the fuck pride is. In addition to, I guess they're changing the word gay into queer. Every time I'm listening to something, they say, I'm queer. I'm queer. Not a gay male, not a lesbian woman, not a whatever. I am queer. I said, that is so interesting, knowing that's a very broad word, considering that they created these letters and we don't know what the fuck they are, and we have to decode the fucking serial killing frequencies that's going on. That's psychosis. So I said, damn, they're changing the name. Now they don't want to be called gay. Now they want to be called queer. Let's just go down some stuff and let's have a conversation. Let's see what the fuck is going on. So I had people that went to this pride stuff and said it was very quiet, very calm. It was very lax. And we came to the conclusion, when me and the spiritual constituents, is people are afraid to really get loose and cut up. Basically, social media has killed the rock star. It has killed the lifestyle. It has killed the fetish. It has killed the taboo. Because the bottom line, what it comes down to, it comes down to social media programming, social media watching, is like social media credit. Because the bottom line is that it's not so much that they're watching your credit, they're watching you to keep you tamed and in line. See, I was telling someone, I said, in America, they didn't really record you. But Asians record each other. They video each other. They do all of that, right? It's like an invasion of privacy. Now, some parts, I understand recording someone is, getting hurt or damaged. But what is the use of recording something if you're just going to stand there, watch it, and don't do anything? Let's talk about this. So we were talking about pride, right? And there's this whole council culture. I was listening and looking at this energy, this millionaire, I guess, in New York, Jonathan K. Mill. And he allegedly had to turn himself into jail because he bopped up some woman at the Brooklyn Pride. And I'm like, and somebody recorded it happening, right? But I didn't understand why he was going to jail. Why is he in trouble? Because that woman assaulted him first. And I think, matter of fact, she threw water on him and he socked him up. But that's considered assault, right? So I said, well, what is going on with this? What is behind this? What is the end game of this, right? So someone records something, they can create a scenario, they can create an illusion, they can create something that's not real. They can create a narrative, they can create a fantasy, they can create untruths, they can make you believe something happened, or they can spin a sensationalism frequency, which is a form of spell work, because that's air and fire magic, because you're using air to create a story tale, which is a fantasy, okay? So listening to this and understanding this particular story, do you understand you can't have a good time at these type of frequencies anymore because you will be recorded? And then next thing you know, your ass is on social media. Not necessarily you can go around like you used to go around unless you don't give a fuck. You know how some of you at them prides can be very interesting, very flamboyant, very naked as fuck, dick balls out, everything out, doing your thing, this and that. And the next thing you know, you're being recorded. And then you out there trying to get a position or a high powered position, or just, this is your lifestyle. This is separate from the work world. And the next thing you know, you get a fucking background check. They didn't put up your fucking social media, or more or less, you didn't even know that your ass was on social media. And you out there partying, swinging your dick around and shit. And you like, what? And they said, we can't give you the job because of your character, your image. You were on social media. You were doing this. I was just telling somebody, I don't cut up like I used to anymore, because I used to cut up a lot. And I said, hell no, you're not going to be catching me and be trying to sue my black ass, talk about assault and battery. I don't know. And the thing about it is that I'm like, that takes away the rock star, right? So if you out here in this universe, people are afraid to talk up for themselves. They're afraid to do anything. They're afraid to have a lifestyle. Furthermore, We're going to get to that pandemic shit in a minute. Furthermore, you could just be out there living and you can't anymore because you're being recorded and then later judged on it. Okay? That's a form of snitching on people. You're up there snitching. You're a big snitch. People out here being serial background checkers on you. And people have to, and you have this new energy that wants to hold you accountable to every fucking thing you do. Well, American people, you don't understand. You didn't basically backed your ass up in the corner. You didn't got under third world energy, and you didn't even know it in governmental energy, right? So let's look at some energies of people we should give shout outs to for pride. Let's get some shout outs. Let's go back to James Cleveland. Okay, shout out to James Cleveland. You know, he died back in the 80s of AIDS because he was getting down with the get down. And now they want to reword AIDS as HIV. No, it was fucking AIDS. He died of AIDS because he was getting down with the get down. Okay, so we're going to stop playing with James Cleveland. I want to give a shout out over there in that Oakland, California to that goddamn Love Center who had all them goddamn gay people up in that church in addition to the trans people and so on. Because if you want to know how to really have a church and it's inclusive, you better go check out that fucking Love Center, bitch, and call it a goddamn and call it a fucking day. I want to acknowledge the 80s and 90s, how AIDS neutralized, again, I talked about this before, a whole energy, a whole community, a whole history, just neutralized them. It was a genocide. It was a murder. So we don't know shit. All them people who have certain history, who had certain frequencies, who had a certain lifestyle, who brought frequencies to us, they just killed them and neutralized them with this frequency that they call AIDS. Okay, I would like to thank the San Francisco gentrifiers. You know, the one that London Breed was backing up. You know, those people, especially the Twitter people who wiped out San Francisco as a whole, that San Francisco ain't shit, and then set up and reconstructed Castro Street, and then moved the whole frequency to Valencia, we're going to say over there on Valencia Street, that also embedded itself with rent controlled housing and just wiped that whole energy out. Who sold the Castro Theater, just killed the whole energy in San Francisco. I give a shout out to them fucking boring ass gentrifiers with their goddamn shit. You know, again, I call them the Twitter people. You know, her bread and butter. Yeah, them motherfuckers. I give a shout out to my motherfucking church, Bethel AME Methodist Episcopal Church, right there on fucking Laguna Street in Fillmore. I like to give out a shout out to fucking Aurel Allen, the old choir director and also the youth choir director who was sitting up there molesting all them fucking boys and fucked them up, and a lot of them got on drugs and a lot of their lives turned fucked up. I give a shout out to that motherfucker right there. And then later on found out that his ass died of AIDS, but he was whole. He was married and had 2 adopted kids and 1 biological. I hope those 2 adopted kids are not fucked up. I like to also give a shout out to Bethel AME, to those parties they used to have, them red light parties that will be with the shit, and they be up in there with the shit. I would like to give a shout out to Jekyll Island. You know, we over here talking about Epstein Island, but let's talk about Jekyll Island that produced these J.P. Morgans and William Rockefeller motherfuckers. You know, the whole boy thing that was going on back then. You know, all them boys. with all that shit going on and them gay men on Jekyll Island. But let's also give a shout out to the Boy Scouts of America, how it was undercover gays under there, and the Girl Scouts of America, there was undercover energies in there. Let's talk about the Big Brothers Society, or the Big Brothers, whatever they call it, and then have these the undercover gay men up there with these boys and shit molesting them. Let's talk about that. Or the Boys Towns of America, how that shit was going on, how all the elite and social life people and your political motherfuckers was over there molesting and having sexual frequencies and orgies and doing all type of undercover shit with them. Okay, let's give a shout out now. Let's give a shout out. See, we always talk about the dang the Catholic Church and the Vatican and all that, and the motherfuckers that be up there on the low messing with children, messing with men, but we never ever talk about the nuns. So let's give a shout out to them fucking nuns that love taking women to the fucking hotel room, having sex, or molesting girls on the low, or pushing up on women. Yeah, the nuns. Let's give a shout out to they asses, okay? So, because we're going to stop playing. we gonna give a shout out to them nuns who have fucking sex parties and people don't talk about it because they want to keep it under wraps. No, let's give a shout out to their asses. You know, that go and volunteer at these orphanages. Let's do that. Oh, and let's give a shout out to these fucking missionaries that go out to these different countries and shit like that and be up there molesting the men, having sex with the men, especially in Africa, Thailand, Indonesia, the Caribbean islands. You know, those missionaries that be on a low having sex and shit with the natives in their country, their asses, you know. And then bringing in a certain culture, especially the Mormon motherfuckers, Seventh-day Adventist motherfuckers, them Baptist motherfuckers. You know who you are, okay? We're going to stop playing. Shout out to the gay parents who fucked up their kids, who all of a sudden in the middle of being a fucking parent to say, you know what, fuck this shit, I'm just gonna live my life. And then you got fucked up ass kids. I know that for sure. Shout out to the Child Protective Services. I'm in California. The Child Protective Services that go and give our children to gay men or gay women, and then they end up harming or sexually assaulting the kids, or being in multiple relationships that basically hinder the children. I don't give a fuck who's angry. I don't give a fuck what it is, and I don't give a fuck what it ain't. It's only the truth. Especially they give our black kids to them. Shout out to the pastors, bishops, priests, and rabbis that purposely go out their way for young men to see, or how can I say it? That they are the first energies of dicks that they see. Okay? Let's give a shout out to these motherfuckers who have created a certain atmosphere, who be on the low, on the creep, fucking around. We forgot them because they are number one in the fucking gay community. They are the fucking lead. Shout out to Jim Jones and his gay ass, even though he's dead. But shout out to him because he was gay as fuck. And we're not going to even talk about your Mr. Dr. York and what the fuck he was doing on the low. We're just not going to talk about that because you guys take up for him, right? We're not going to talk about the same-sex orgies Jim Jones was doing, right? We're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about Nature Boy, how we gave him a fucking pass after he was getting butt tickled in that fucking porn, in that fucking porn movie. Remember that? That doctor, I think he had a glove and he was sticking his finger in Nature Boy's butthole and we let that shit go? Remember when that trans person or cross-dresser came running up talking about Nature Boy was doing ABCD, and we set up and condoned the behaviors? We didn't have questions when this motherfucker out here doing that shit, and he up in that damn cult having sex with women, and he was organizing whole orgies in front of our faces, and we had no fucking questions. We didn't have fucking questions when Umar Johnson was putting that school together for boys only and stole all that goddamn money. But for boys only? Okay. No questions. Okay. Shout out to the person who gave the list of all the fucking gay Bible owls and the social media Bible owls, okay? And giving the list of all the gay conscious motherfuckers that y'all love so much, and showing and clarifying these ranch orgies. Give a shout out. I'll give a shout out to Azalea Banks with that music she plays and what the tones underneath her music that make the gay men go wild. Shout out to the list of YouTube occultists that are gay as hell, but then perpetrate as being heterosexual and talking about skeet and delete type of niggas. The list and the list. Shout out to the fag hags. Most of them are big women anyway. Shout out to them. That gives the energies. How come we never really talk about Sylvester? We really don't. And the Weather Girls. What's up with that energy? How come we don't talk about Martha Wash? And is it Azora? How come we're not talking about the ballroom scene, how it's connected to church, how they had a whole era called disco gospel going on? How come we're not talking about that? How come we're not really talking about house music and how it was in our faces all along, and how different music had certain undertones and we didn't understand we were being indoctrinated in something for years? Very interesting. That's a cold game and a cold piece of spell work, right? How come we didn't understand Sodom and Gomorrah? How come we didn't understand if we do a flip mode? See, you know I'm going to do different flip modes. I can do that, right? Now, let's look at another frequency of Sodom and Gomorrah, because we understand Sodom and Gomorrah were two different cities. So you telling me Gomorrah was ran in sensibility and family, and you telling me this gay god wanted to kill Gomorrah and the energies that were there? And when it was talking to Lot, it wanted to make sure shit was in havoc. It was under Sodom. Are you telling me this god of gayness and Sodom turned that town into Sodom and gentrified and colonized it? And then made sure Lot was of that life, so he had incestuous relations with his daughter, which trickles today. When you hear different stories, especially when I was hearing about the whole Somalian energy, when they're up there marrying their first fucking cousins, in the Middle Easterns marrying their first fucking cousins. Let's understand this. So we have an energy, two towns, Sodom and Gomorrah, and they're telling you that the angels were walking. It was just horrid, right? But nobody ever thought about that those were colonizers. the orgies, the homosexuality, the tabooness, the fetishes that was going on there, right? Isn't that how we feel sometimes as Black people? Like shit just overwhelm us and we don't know what it is, what it ain't. Because we have new energies coming in, like we have this new philosophy of immigrants and life and religions and antichrist behavior. So you have the angels who's part of the energies of Gomorrah, okay? And they're going a lot because Lot is like the last of the Mohicans that's part of the town of Gomorrah before they really got to colonize it into Sodom, okay? But in reality, that God of gayness and God of fetish was questioning Lot until he killed everybody that was even part of that other town of Gomorrah. Some people believe Gomorrah was your feminine energy, meaning it was women, family, and so on. But at this point, we under the energies of Sodom, sodomites. You guys want to call them sodomites. Feces magic, asshole magic, all that shit. So right now we are part of Sodom. We are in the city, the town, the state, the country, the continent, whatever you want to call yourself, the village, the compound of Sodom. Sodom has taken over. And it's all through the frequencies. We just never thought about that. We have never flip mode the philosophies and turn it upside down and look at it different ways. You just want to look at it one goddamn way. But if we look at the way the world is moving and how they are gentrifying and colonizing, do you understand that what's happening here in the United States is happening globally? Ireland is upset. Ireland has an influx of immigrants. You have the UK, you have Scotland. Of course, we have the Virgin Island, the Caribbean Island, Jamaica. All of that is really bad. They are literally they're pulling a Noah's Ark. They're changing the scope of the world. So if in Brazil you had, your Portuguese or whatever, you had your people, they didn't push them out. And I heard they all up in Ireland and other places. But then you got Asians in fucking Brazil now. You got Asians in fucking Cuba. You got Asians in fucking Colombia. God damn. You have, Ukrainians every fucking where. This is like really look at the frequency. There's this, you want to talk about Babel? You want to talk about spell work in Babel? That's fucking Babel. Okay? That's Babylon right there. Dubai is Sodom. So we're going to stop playing here. You have Muslim, Islamic women yelling at Black women, don't wear wigs, don't wear makeup, don't do this, don't do that. Could you worry about your man and how he's undercover? Can you do that? Shout out to these serial killers. They don't be talking about Ronald, Dominique, and stuff like that. These cross-dresser killers, and they be up there killing men. They don't talk about them, but I give a shout out to them. I give a shout out to the Wayans movies. They're gay friendly. We have new psychologists coming out talking about they queer. They are they, them, her, he, it, you, she, we, someone, and oneself. We have queer psychology talking about they use pronouns. And you're getting an uprise of queer psychologists who are Black. Most of them are Black women. But you telling me I'm crazy. I have psychosis. But you said you're a queer psychologist And you said that you are them, they, them, he, she, cat, dog, and wolf. Wouldn't that be multiple personalities and even some forms of dissociative disorder? So if I go sit down in your chair, you tell me my pronoun is they. But then I'm supposed to sit there and it's like, then I'm supposed to tell you my problems, but you telling me you he. But then you look like a woman. But I'm a them. But you said, but I'm supposed to sit. But then at the same time, you may prescribe me medication. But you need the medication. But how do I need the medication? But you said that you, they, them, her, he, it, and you was. Okay. That's a cold game, and that's a cold piece of spell work, right? Shout out to Secret Society on Tubi 1, 2, and 3. Because number 3 is a star-studded, fake star-studded energy. You got Lil Romeo up in number 3. You got that model guy who was in jail. What in the hell? I had a spiritual constituents telling me that them Tubi movies, especially the ones out of Atlanta, he said those are all gay boys. I said, I've been wondering why they've been having these interesting movies. So shout out to Tubi, who makes sure to cater to the gay community in films. I've been wondering what was going on with that. Because I said his eyebrows are really arched and they looking really, I wonder where he get his eyebrows done at. But all along his ass up there knowing he's part of the gay community. We so stupid, we over here listening to T.S. Madison argue with Mr. Netta. Why are we stupid? First of all, we have psychosis when we entertained T.S. Madison. T.S. Madison has a dick. And I said, if he has a dick, wouldn't he be considered a cross-dresser? A transvestite, maybe? But not a transsexual? Because when you look at it, a transsexual says that in so many words that they're transitioning. A transvestite means that they just like to be part of the other sex, dress as the other sex. The same thing as a cross-dresser, okay? Could he be a queen? See, we gotta be seeing now black women, we have to be careful to word queen. Because is he a drag queen? But then it's very interesting when I was looking at drag queens, they're very flamboyant, as they say. But I said, they pull a lot from the Renaissance era, even the Regency era. You know, it's a lot of frequencies, right? Even some forms of antebellum, and then merge that energy together. But how come we just never question T.S. Madison as having a psychosis? How did we normalize the frequency? How did we let that world make it not okay to question a person's frequency and really break down who they are? Because I was recently looking at an interview on, I think it's called Gay Magazine, and it's on social media. And I was listening to the person interview Funky Dineva. And I said, how in the fuck did we sit up here and not peep that Funky Dineva's depressed? How did we let that person, even though what it is, what it ain't, what it is, sit up and put Funky Dineva out like that? Even I'm like, whoa, that was some odd. You remember, I guess, what they call her? Well, the person, I don't even know, but I guess he was living in the person's condo and fucked it up. and then she recorded it and then put it out on social media. But how is it, if we knew that was going on, how did we not chastise the energy and condone the behavior and understand that there's some issues going on with T.S. Madison and Funky Geneva? Maybe there needs to be some empathy and sympathetic energy of what's going on, because a lot of the issues, I'm like, what's wrong with us? We talk about people having psychosis. We have psychosis. How do we sit up here and even entertain T.S. Madison? Not to be rude, but how did we not? How did this happen? And the fact is that T.S. Madison is not like an entertainer. T.S. Madison is a lifestyle. That the lifestyle ended up intervening in our lives. Like, how did this happen? It ended up dictating. Do you understand? T.S. Madison was giving counseling, was giving people counseling, and was counseling people. Like, what the fuck? I mean, as an energy, as a gatekeeper, I get it. But why didn't we not recognize that as Black people? Why are we entertaining T.S. Madison talking to this man and the man's special needs husband? Why are we even entertaining Mr. Netta and this person of special needs? Mr. Netta need to be looked at by the court system, because how is it that Mr. Netta forced this man into a relationship with him? And we can clearly see this man has a psychosis and a mental disorder, and he is of special needs, and he has looked like some forms of autism. Okay, Mr. Netta has issues, and he is a hypersexual. I'm like, why is he not looked at for disability abuse? You can clearly see there's something going on right there. They've been talking about on social media that his ass showed up at the BET Awards uninvited, like trying to force his energy. And it's like, what the fuck is going on here? This shit is weird. Black people on some crazy psychosis ass shit. But we don't ask questions. We just go with the flow with shit. We don't speak on nothing. The bottom line is that if you keep shutting the fuck up, your rights are just deteriorating. It's gone. How we condone this? Are we out here listening to what the world says? I'm just asking questions. I had a spiritual constituents check out that Law Roach. Because his face has been showing everywhere, and I keep saying he's a stylist. What's this energy? And I asked him, I said, do you think he's part of the ballroom scene? Because they sure pushing it. I seen a picture with Grace Jones and Naomi Campbell. And I was like, oh, okay. And then his ass was standing right there. I said, what the fuck is this? He's a stylist. Shout out to the trans people who are now telling the truth about their surgery. They're saying it is painful to have sex with that mock vagina, because some of you motherfuckers get in my comments lying, and this person kept it real and told the truth, that they said that it doesn't heal, it's a wound. They said the hole is small, sex is painful. They don't tell you that. And I guess they call it a phallus for the women transitioning into men, and they talk about the botched surgeries. Okay? You got to be careful, because again, it goes into organ harvesting, especially with them fake penises. I'm being told by a spiritual constituent who is a gay male and said, we need, in the future, we need to watch out for the women transitioning into men. That's going to be something. Shout out to that. Because at least somebody had to tell the fucking truth. I was listening to, again, this energy, this woman interviewing this man about, it's called, again, Gay Magazine, about if you're a bottom, what's your go-to meal? I said, what type of questions are these? But more and more from gay men, and some men who, I'm just getting into it, who, what they call tops, they saying everybody want to be a fucking bottom. What is that about? They want to suck up cum. They want ejaculation. They want the frequencies. They want the energies. They're vampires. They're sperm vampires, right? One says, don't eat anything. The other one says, do a fruit cleanse. The other one says, do fiber. The fuck? Then you have these other energies, which I would call them transvestites, who still have their penis, but they want to be a woman so bad that they're up there asking them relationship advice, and they're up there saying that they want the bag, they want to be taken care of. No, you're a jealous ass motherfucker who's jealous of biological women and jealous of what we get and jealous of us and how we handle ourselves as women and being taken care of. Jealous bitches. That's what that is. We're going to get tired of Jojo Sawa. I don't know what's going on with that energy, but that's a forced energy that they mounted a gayness on her. And some people think that she might be transitioning. Raven Simone, I don't know what's going on with her and how come we never met her mother. I was watching her on something and I said, Raven Simone is actually cool as shit. But they got her all wrapped up with this white woman and shit. We don't know what's going on with her. There's some energies with her, but I'm very interested. Okay? I'm very interested. Who are her parents? How come we've never seen her mother and father? Even as a little girl, we never seen her parents. Where did she come from? Who is she? Are we going to talk about the energies that was going on in West Virginia when they sat up and found out that a man had a whole Noah's Ark school bus and he was up in there having a bestiality and sex with the animals? Are we not going to talk about that? That happened in Virginia? You guys out here on this social media and on these apps, and you don't know, they have app AIs, and app AIs are pretend people who interact with you just to collect information. They collect what you want, what you like sexually and all. And again, they are app AI. So when you think you're online and you're talking to a person, and meaning if you're on, I say, is it called Jack? You may not really be talking to a person. You may be talking to an AI fake person who's really collecting information and collecting data. But let's read some of these men and what your husbands, what your boyfriends may be reading, because you understand when people be giving their profiles and descriptions on these apps, you understand that those are petitions. Okay, they are petitions. So for example, this says traveling Indian, bubble peach looking. He's looking for a butt, an ass, a nice shaped ass. But read his petition. Looking to get on my knees and give a passionate head. That oral sex again, right? I've been told I'm pretty good at it. and added, love to be spanked while sucking, also into dry humping. Please send stats pics for a response. We'll be hosting in a hotel. Details, 27 years old in Georgetown, looking for a 32 to 45-year-old. Posted, oh, that's the hours. That's a petition. Traveling Indian. He's a traveling Indian. Do you understand he may have a wife and kids at home and we out here fucking around? Let's go to another one. Let's read another one. Now, I don't know if this says DI, but basically a top looking for hosting bottoms. Read this petition. 6'2", 250, a top looking for bottoms. Send pics and location, free during weekdays while I'm in the area for work, early morning work too. Do you know this most likely is a heterosexual male? This might be a heterosexual man. 34 years old in Tyson. Looking for 18 to 55 years old. Let's read another petition because you guys need to know these petitions out here on these apps. Military jock, straight jock, here looking for a dude to jerk off with while I'm in DC area for training, bitch. Ages 30 years old in Arlington, Virginia. Looking for 25 to 35-year-olds. Why is she up here reading that? Because I am. Because I am. Let me see, what else do I have here? You have an energy here of they call it a pig bottom. Just a nasty ass. Doing all type of stuff in there. Bi guy in a relationship. Look like girlfriend wants to watch, might join if the vibe is right, bitch. And I heard a lot of that energies is coming out of Atlanta too. So Atlanta has produced an interesting energy that was supposed to been more kind of kept underground. Just read this shit, right? I want some head. This is part of pride. I'm just reading pride. Okay. I'm in the NW, only looking for car play, looking for a bear, a thicker, hairy guy to come by and suck me off in the car. Hit me up for details. Are you reading these petitions? 32-year-old in NW, looking for a 25 to 55-year-old. Post-op trans woman looking for her man. I'm into most things. The wilder, the better. Can't host. 44B, 215 pounds, 5'10", post-op, meaning I'm all woman down there. Looking to fulfill a fantasy. Read this petition. We're a couple 24 to 25 looking to make a fantasy of ours real today. We haven't done anything like this before. So we'll be carefully selecting someone from the replies who fits what we're looking for. She is white with tattoos and an alternative lifestyle and nice around ass. There will be no play between the guys, but both will be involved at the same time. Overall, we're looking for someone who is able to host car, to host. Car might be possibility, but having a place is a bonus. We'll start with just watching. We'll start with just you watching before allowing you to join. Boyfriend has final say of what happens. Please be clean and drug free. 420 friendly though. I don't know what that means. Oh, 420. I'm tripping. Weed. Okay. Send a bit about you and stats. What is with this stats? Please explain that to me and pick of yourself. This is very important if you want to be chosen. This is in the universal soul, right? Eat my musky crack. Looking for guys that love to dive into sweaty, ripe crack. Take your time, giving me tongue. Babe, if you do a good job, I'll invite you back regularly. Clean and discreet. You be too. 36 years old. They're looking for 18 to 50. You looking at all these petitions? I could go on and on and on. Breast play for 2 hours. An AA woman with a 36D cups needing extended breast play. Race does not matter. You must be able to host a BDDF and accept that you will remain fully clothed. No sex involved. These are called petitions. Anytime that you're on social media and you write your description and you write what you want, understand it's a petition. As we close out pride, I need to close it out. I need to give you post-pride energy. People have been asking me what I think about Trump and Biden. They're both incompetent. They're both incompetent. Social programming, trauma-based, socialization, and savior effect. What is going on with all these black people that's pushing this Trump energy? What are his politics? What is it about? It's a joke. This whole energy is a joke. The debate was a joke. It's all bullshit. It is exactly what the philosopher was talking about. It's like everybody out here don't have no fucking intelligence. Black people, you stupid as a motherfucker. You out here tripping because he made a statement about Mexicans, I think, in so much taking black jobs. No, why don't you read in between the lines? If he is a fucking if he's a fucking Gemini, he's telling you something. It's not about a fucking Mexican taking your goddamn jobs. It's about as a whole, third worlders are coming in and the jobs that you used to have, you don't have anymore. Your asses done sat up and not go to college anymore. You're not business owners anymore. You want to be on social media. You want to be famous. You want to be seen. You want to be lazy, but you don't understand. You done sat up and gave your wealth to Asians, to all these other people. When he's saying Mexicans, that's just for sensationalism. You better watch these Ukrainians, because Ukrainians, you know that whole Uber and DoorDash and all that shit and Lyft. No, they didn't sat up and gave those jobs over here to them. Okay, most of the times that at first I would see, you know, certain people come or certain people driving. And one day I was like, what's up with him? He has a fucking attitude. Let me tell you something. Ukrainians are an acquired taste. They are not cool people. Okay, and they don't understand that they're here in America. It's supposed to be a melting pot. They looking at you crazy. I could have swore one of them because my son had ordered something from DoorDash, and I could have swore the one I saw him do a pentagram around my son's food, and I was on the intercom, and I had on the recorder thing, and I said, "Hey, what the fuck you doing?" And he looked up. He was like, "Oh no, I don't know English." I said, "What the fuck?" And I did that. And I was about to go to the door. And my son heard me. He was like, "Mom, da 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 da." I was like, He was doing a pentagram around your food. My son wasn't trying to listen to me, right? But Lyft jobs, DoorDash, Instacart, stuff like that is going to third world people. I'm hearing like in different locations, third world people. Okay? Mexicans have always stepped in and took black jobs. It's always been that way. That's why they over here in manager positions. That's why they opening up their shit. You didn't realize this? Cooking jobs. You niggas don't want to cook anymore. So they cooking. You don't want to do shit. You don't even want to do agriculture. I've been going back and forth over a fucking lawn and landscaping that I had to like I have to literally do work. This is when I was like really going out there doing work, but I even had to do work on the lawn that I have because they was out here clowning. You got to watch them. Mexican people are interesting specimens. It's not about racism, it's about who they are. They don't like us, and I don't think we like them. But then it's just what it is. There's a certain undertone, there's a certain energy. Nobody out here really keeping it real. I'm in California. There is a difference between Bay Area Mexicans and there's a difference between Southern Mexicans. I fuck with Bay Area Mexicans. They have more sense, they're cooler, and we all get along. We all is what it is, what it ain't. Over here in that Southern California shit, they make you want to whoop their ass. Because they get in your face and they're vicious and they always want to fight you. Especially if you're black, they want to be derogatory, and I don't care what it is, and I don't care who's married to one or whatever's going on. We got to tell some truth here of what's going on. You have them, I guess they're angry over that Kendrick Lamar shit. Fuck them. Fuck them. Because they don't think about us. And I had to tell my son, you understand, they don't want you dating their fucking daughters and shit. And when what they're trying to do is push their way into the culture, into meaning we are not together. We don't have it together because we let other cultures come in and basically step on us, right? So you kind of have to listen to what he's saying because he's not lying. So there's no use of us getting on social media, making a joke about it or trying to show our status. No, we don't have a status anymore in America. We're a joke. And we have other energies coming in, taking over and stepping into our lifestyles. For one, they're going to school to work in the school system. They're your counselors. They're working in social services. They're working in CPS. They're working as psychologists. They're going to school for psychology. They're getting their masters and PhDs. They're going to be over your children. And they don't give a fuck about our kids. They give a fuck about their kids. They're making sure that they are in place to help their people. What the fuck are we doing? Why is it that we get so involved with the fuck somebody say and not really listening the in between? He's telling you something. He's saying in a minute, you're just ass out. Period. Just look at it. They're taking all of the smaller jobs, and now you have these Ukrainians coming in who are taking the smaller jobs. I told you the Mexicans think they're too highfalutin. Let's not get it fucked up. Not only Mexicans, you have other Central and certain parts of South Americans coming in here and clowning. We hire them as cooks and stuff, and they be too busy sabotaging our food so they can have it. So and the bottom line is, I mean, and what I mean by they can have it, so they can have your business. They'll purposely sabotage your food and fuck it up, and then do work, and then they have your business. Someone was just telling me about a food truck issue that there's, I don't know, she's El Salvadoran or whatever she may be. She's up in there trying to dictate and tell them what to do, and it's a Black-owned business. You got to watch that shit, okay? Stop always making a joke of every fucking thing and just sometimes listen and read between the lines of stuff. The bottom line is that Black people are back into the antebellum era. They're back in slavery. They are back in the Civil War. They're looking for a savior. They're looking for a white savior. And they think that Trump is the white savior. Basically, Black people like getting their ass kicked and all. The interesting thing about this, if we go back to the pandemic, it's very much insulting that now they want to say the shit was a scam. People are being questioned. Hearings that happen. You got that Fauci ass looking like Mother Teresa, because I think they related. Because, you know, they saying all type of shit about Mother Teresa. They're saying that whole whoop wop, getting them shots, HIPAA laws was all bogus, meaning they broke very much HIPAA laws. They've done so much. People out here went and got themselves intoxicated with shit. People lost their jobs over it. They didn't hire people over it. People lost even acting jobs over it. Just for them to come back and say it was all bullshit. But then Trump invested in it. Did y'all forget that he had an investment in it? Because we got to look at both sides. Because I know Biden is special needs. And I don't know who that actor is. But I'm saying, let's also look at Trump. Trump had an investment in that whole thing. He had an interview at Columbia University, because I think you guys forgot, when Columbia Laboratory was part of the research for the whoop wop. Did y'all forget that? And you guys forgot that he had an investment in the whoop wop? So right now we stuck in an antebellum phase that we're looking for a white savior. See, we've been getting our ass kicked so much that we're under domestic violence. That's what's going on. Very much psychological abuse, right? But to be honest with you, we're going to have to decide if we're going to fight or we're going to do a flight effect, okay? And all along, through many, many, many decades, centuries, they've been getting ready. They've been getting ready for the takeover. I don't know what those people are. I don't know what their frequency is. All I know is they have an issue with melanated energy. The bottom line is that melanated energy, which is us, we are supreme beings. We are superior. We are not inferior, and we never been inferior. But the way we live now, we are very much inferior. But we are supreme human beings, okay? That's just bottom line. And we need to stop playing with ourselves. Most recently, my sons, I was telling my spiritual constituents, I said my sons went and snuck and got their, that DNA shit. I said, now you in the fucking system. Talk about that they want to know who they are. I said, I already told you who you are. But what it comes down to is that they want to know who their father, like, because remember their father is adopted. And so, and I told him, I said, and in that case, I'll give you his real motherfucking name. You could look up his birth certificate. You can kind of start from there, but they didn't want to do that. There's one test they took together, and then my other son took a separate test. So this the first test that came, that test scared me because it didn't make sense. How in the hell are you 100 different people from 100 different countries? But you want to know what scared me? It scared me because this particular test started breaking down his DNA and his fibers. And he was trying, I said, nah, I don't like that. It broke down what his eye color is supposed to be, his complexion, if he had dimples, if he had a cleft chin. What is this? Then my other son test came from this different company. It said the same thing. But wait a minute, let me go back to the other son. It said come from all of this energy, 25 different energies. Then it narrowed down the islands, Caribbean islands. Supposedly it said where he is from. And it was worded like, to give you a sneak, it said my first son is from Barbados, Jamaica, and South America. I said, then now they want me to take the test, talking about they want to narrow it down. I said, hell no. This is shit we have to be careful of. This is what they're doing in the universe. So the other son, they had him at 25 different places. The fuck is going? And I said, don't believe this shit. I said, I told y'all not to take this test. Now you in the fucking system. And it's hard talking to these groups, right? But what is very interesting, as I talked about this Fauci or Fatchy, can we go back to the pandemic? Pandemic. They sat up and played us, and this is just my energies, with this entity, this deity, a Pan. Pan, in their world, whoever practices it, is an entity, a deity that's dark. I recommend nobody fuck with it because people die. They sacrificed us with this pandemic shit using Pan. And Pan caused death, suicides, bad health, arrest, wealth, money loss, job loss, phase outs, sexual deviancy, OnlyFans, psychosis, dumbing down of people, depression, getting certain type of shots, again, disregarding of HIPAA energy, censorship, constitutional rights violated, vitamin D and vitamins deficiency, causing us to eat slop food, within it slave food, and that's when they introduced to us more and more Indian shit. They fatten us up with even Mexican food, with shit like that, because Mexican food has always, Mexican food have always been fattening. Then they came in with this slave food when they didn't went back to giving us grits, slopping up the grits, and then incorporating that with oxtails. That's fucking, now that's some slave shit. That's some slave shit. That's slop food. But in reality, all the energies in the governmental, these pastors and rabbis got together and sacrificed us to pandemic, to Pan. Demic leads into demonic energy, to people, to population, to even to, what's it called? Was it the Mickey? which end up being Mickey, which you start to understand, you lead Mickey into Michael. Remember I talked about the name Mickey, Michael, all of that is a demon energy. See how they do us? Just like Jackal equals Jack equals Jackson. You better start understanding the connections. Peter Pan. We're up here feeding a fucking deity called Pan. And the other demon, pandemic, demic. So we're feeding two demons. You're feeding us. See, this is above y'all pay grade, because they use words, they use entities. And what is it? Hermes is supposed to be his father, or is it? And isn't there a luxury line and energy called? Is it Hermes or Hermes? They use demonic energies and they know what they are. And we don't know. You're like, okay, she's doing too much. No, pandemic. Pan. You have to think layman. Why in the fuck did they feed people to this entity? They fed us to this entity. They snuck immigrants in, underground prostitution, children fetishes. Someone said, a spiritual constituent said something very interesting to me. And what she said very interesting to me is, you, in so many words, you don't want to pimp adult women because they're problematic. It is easier to pimp children or traffic children because, basically, so many words, because of their innocence. They don't fight back. We have to reevaluate shit, especially with children. But are you giving these children a pan? You guys out here talking about Satan, Lucifer, and the devil. Now, but who's Pan? I know people who fucked around with Pan and died. Global sacrifice. Underground red door parties, snuff films, live streaming, watch parties, Shanquilla effect, Kanika Jenkins effect. Understand the list. Understand people be watching. Understand during the pandemic, people are at home looking at that shit and paying to look at that shit. We shouldn't be suspicious that young Pharaoh during the election was trying to get people to vote for Trump. We ignored that. Then they got rid of young Pharaoh. But you got Waka Flocka out here talking about anybody who going to fuck around with Biden need to get out his shit. That's under pan. We're still under the pandemic. We're still under the pandemic. More and more as you're researching under this energies of people, everybody is connected to everybody. These kidnappings, when you understand like some of these serial killers, you like, it'll be a whole pedophile ring. And a lot of pedophile rings are in the Philippines. There's a whole fetish energy. They were talking about back then how they would record shit and sell it. I was like, is that why Dwight Howard was in fucking Philippines? Is a fetish? Some fetish shit going on? Huh. We don't talk about serial killers like John David Norman. and they said allegedly he was connected to the government. It's a lot of shit going on under Pan. So we keep feeding Pan suicide, being under ritual, anxiety, depression, social anxiety, complex PTSD, stress, anger, mental disorders. We fed our souls to pandemic, and we keep doing it every day. Black people, it loves your melanin. It's eating it up. Sexually, drugs, all of that. Food, gluttony, lust. The pandemic caused us to go do opiates, drugs, weed, alcohol, sex apps, fetishes, food, gluttony, the seven sins. What the fuck? We're feeding Pan. We let Pan put us in isolation and all. So much so that they gave Pan homeless people and addicts, especially in San Francisco. They sat up and fed Pan heroin, crystal meth, put them in hotel rooms, in Indian motel, not hotel, but motel rooms, to just overdose. They fed Pan. To find out that the DEA is doing a crackdown on labs and also doing thorough background checks is very interesting, because apparently there's different types of products or acids that they use in crystal meth and fentanyl, even using asbestos. And to find out, there's a redneck, and then there's, I'm going to call it the high end. You had chemists, PhDs, selling the purest part of the acids for crystal meth and fentanyl. Then you wondering why motherfuckers was out here dying. They were dying off of the real motherfucking shit. The shit we seeing in the streets, that's the redneck. But there's a whole purity. And they don't want to talk about it because it's white people doing it in Asians. Asians and white people and Indians. Indians own laboratories. This is under Pan. Feeding Pan the ritual. The demic killed the lifestyle. You got Sunset Boulevard that's fucked up. The Sunset Strip in Los Angeles fucked up. Skid Row is worse. San Francisco, they've been talking about San Francisco Fisherman's Wharf. I was appalled. I said, Alioto Fish Grotto? Wait a minute. What? How does dead? What the fuck? It killed cities. Pandemic. Them demons killed cities. Those entities killed the world globally. Then you have the audacity to believe in the Antichrist people? Talking about God and Jesus and thank God and all. What the fuck? You have the audacity to let other cultures come in and create science to talk about Christianity and the spirit? You are so stupid that you listening to entertain talk about the Holy Spirit? That's the illusion of pandemic, Pan. But y'all say I'm crazy. But meanwhile, you'll go to a psychologist that say I'm queer. Him, they, we are. Right? You'll let a psychologist say that you have autism. You know, spiritual autism, as they say now, spiritual autism. People out here doing third world LLCs and shit. Talking about residencies. What the fuck is a residency? You have, what is it, that slutty vegan talking about doing a residency in Los. What the fuck is a residency? They got residencies having in Vegas, Ja Rule and them. Nah, Ja Rule and Fat Joe and them owe money. Because, you know, fucking with it, they don't have enough energies or enough hits to be doing a residency. You guys are worried about what the fuck is going on with Trump, Biden, Kendrick Lamar, and Drake, because it's all dealing with Zodiac and astrology. They fuck with Zodiacs and astrology. And what it comes down to, Scorpio energy. If we want to talk planets, planets are technically the zodiac signs. Okay? So, for example, the zodiacs are the planets. So, where you say Mars. So, Mars is really a zodiac. Where in reality, the name of Mars, I'm just saying, should be Scorpio. The planet Scorpio. They switched it. That's why we're in confusion. It's above your pay grade. So you don't know about this zodiac. That's why when people try to hit me, she don't know about zodiac. I know more than you think. I know more than you think I know. I know that it's been switched. That's why you guys out here all fucked up. So I'm going to be layman because technically Scorpio is under the energies of Mars and Saturn and Uranus. Because matter of fact, for pride and under the energies of homosexuality, their planet is supposed to be Uranus. They move the gay pride and the gay energy is under a planet, if you don't know. I told you everything is under Zodiac. It's under Uranus and Scorpio. Now let's get back. This is all Zodiac energy that they're fucking with. Because then having that energy, then you, and it's also considered the underworld. So if you, so they're using, so think about why Scorpios are being sacrificed at this time. Because they're being sacrificed because they're considered the underworld and it's under the energies of Mars and Saturn and Uranus. And they need to keep sacrificing them to keep uprooting Pan, the underworld. Now, they may look at it different. I don't give a fuck the way they look. I'm looking at it what the spirit says is what it is. Fetishes, persuasion, war. Then when you break down in the zodiac world, Scorpio is Aquarius, Pisces. And at one time, Cancer was not considered a water. Scorpio, Aquarius, and Pisces was water. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Now, see how it keep going back to Aquarius and they alike and they keep moving? They keep moving Gemini in the first house, second house, and third house. That's why they have them warring and have us all confused because they're really fighting each other in the zodiac world. Then when you step it again, then another part, as they talk about with Scorpio, is Aries. Aries and Pisces. Well, guess what? In Gemini, Libra, and Pisces again. Zodiac. They're fucking with Zodiac. But what is Aries shadow self Libra? What is Libra shadow self is Aries. where do they put the Gemini? On top of the Libra. And then move the Aquarius in the third house. But they both have Pisces. You see what I'm talking about? All they doing is playing astrology with you. They're playing Zodiac. They're playing with energies. They're moving in energies. They're moving in planets. So I don't got shit to say about Kendrick Lamar and them, because I know it's all Zodiac. Right? Under pandemic, you have in San Pedro, California, a man shooting cats, talking about cats are evil. The police is pretending they don't know what the fuck is going on, and he's up there doing symbols and signs around San Pedro in red and saying that cats are demonic. And he says he eats the cats. But the police is not doing anything about it because they said that they needed a video. What, a video what? This man is using bow and arrows. Kind of spell work is that? Talking about he's the Knights Templar. That's Masonic. The Knights Templar. Stop playing. Aren't y'all sick of Mark Jacobs and his long fingernails? What's up with him? He's being condescending. But what is he trying to pull? He's pulling energy with them nails. At first I was like, he's pulling energy. He's an energy vampire. What's up with these abandoned houses of Oprah, Mary J. Blige, and Tom Cruise? And every time you look, they always got some shit in it. Mary J. Blige house, abandoned house, had a whole car in it. Tom Cruise house has shit in it. Somebody was telling me about Rick Ross' house. That's just a whole movie set. And basically, he's just the keeper of it. What the fuck is going on with these abandoned houses? And there's always shit in it. What the fuck? And what's going on with them stealing land? What type of spell work that you assess someone land with taxes at 440%? So that's how black people are going to lose their property now, through taxes? And then the assessor's office lying, talking about that they mistakenly assessed the properties incorrectly? No, that's called them trying to steal your property. That's a cold game, a cold piece of spell work. Are we going to talk about how in China it's you have to be elite to wear makeup, and it's always been that way with their dynasties? You have to be royalty to wear makeup? Why are they now saying people who have ADHD or hypersexual, and now they have medicines for them and therapy they can give them? Why are they now talking about and have black people in front of it that most likely you have autism if you're in some kind of occultism or believe in spirituality? Don't pull me up in your madness. Kay Spade, they're alleging that she found out about something of her leathers that they were using and that it was human skin. They've always used human skin and shit. And dolls and all, just like with Tori Spelling mother is very questionable about them dolls that she have. They've always used human skin and puppets and all to make things come alive. Have y'all seen how they're making fake seeds, GMO, talk about their real seeds? Have y'all been peeping that they don't want to talk about Louisiana's built on top of pyramids? And how San Francisco, New York or built on top of dead people. In Mississippi and Alabama, built on top of dead people, like a poltergeist. Aren't y'all tired of these new age religions, monotheism? You have somebody out there getting mad and angry with Azalea Banks so they can reality talk about their new religion of water energy. Meanwhile, we have motherfuckers out here practicing pandemic and people out here still talking about water entities and deities. We don't even know where the fuck Azalea Banks is for her to even be addressed. But why are you still talking about sirens and orishas? And we're under pandemic that creates tornadoes, hurricanes, and floods. You're talking about orishas and sirens and orishas. You got men out here doing spell work, head work. Talking about if you have dreads, you're fire. If you got braids, you're air. If you have a flat top, you're earth. If you have waves, you're water. And they're calling it a nation. Under the pandemic. You got silly ass black women out here talk about the Kate Von D effect. What's her name? Catherine Von Drenchberg, whatever. They talk about she's Mexican. And I just know her for her music. But she got the fuck out of LA. I guess she had to give that house back. They sold that house she was in. I think her husband's Mexican. I think he does that Cholo Goth music. And now they're creating a movement called the Kat Von effect. Well, first of all, the Kat Von effect is just her getting baptized, and allegedly they're trying to say that she switched from, occultism and got scared of occultism and the demons and all this shit and went into, this baptism. What you talk about? You don't know what the fuck she baptized herself in. Stop creating this false shit. Because you can simply follow the Bible and still practice dark works. She probably had to get baptized from that Hollywood shit. From the holly tree, holly. We're going to stop that playing. Stop making up all this goddamn shit. It's like the Anne Rice effect. Under the pandemic, now the white girls up there soul sucking Sade. Now there's this movement to be under Sade. First you guys were under David Bowie. With your new age magic. So now you're under Sade and her archetype. They out here creating laminated stickers, credit card, calling it Tyrone food stamps. We don't want to admit that they didn't took Krishan Baby away from her because we should have known that was Damien. Oh my God, she's so rude in what she said. I don't give a fuck. We should have known that was Rosemary Baby. I told you that was Rosemary Baby. They said allegedly she might be doing a couple of years. Are those the years that she was supposed to do before you try to push her for to be famous? Like what I said, and they said that they pushing her sister. No, my question is, where did her child go and how come nobody can have her kid? That's a check. Niggas don't pass up money. That's a whole check. That's almost a $10,000 check a month if you play your cards right. So why wouldn't they not take her child? Because it had to go back to its father. Beelzebub. Allegedly. I want to know who's the real Rastafarian people. Not them Christian motherfuckers. I want to know how come when elders get old, they're able to have a pipeline to the devil and talk to him. Why are they up in these senior homes drugging senior citizens? Why are Russians tripping with Simone Biles, knowing that she's a bionic woman? My question is, how come Simone Biles, Gabby Douglas, and, well, why are they both adopted? What is that like? How come Sha'Carri is raised by her mother and stuff? I mean, her grandmother, and her mother died when she won her track and shit. You guys, well, is there, no. There's always something with these people. And how come the last Olympics, it was all dealing with mental health? Why are we getting Russia trying to dumb down a routine? Because they're not superior. You got to remember, back then, they were running a lot of the gymnastics to Russia, especially in the late 70s and 80s. Simplifying gymnastics because they're inferior. Weak DNA people. LeBron James' son is drafted by the Lakers. What opportunity. John Majors was crying like a bitch. Where's his mother at? Where's his family at? Where are they at? What the fuck is the Hollywood Unlocked Award? What the fuck is going on with Abbott, that Abbott Elementary School casting, where they are shadow banning, almost blacklisting, and ghosting their young cast that they had previously? I guess they highfalutin now, and they don't want to cast their original people. Too highfalutin, too much ritual. That's how you mess up a show. Under the pandemic, we're under the Kessler syndrome effect. We under Don Kessler effect, huh? How satellites is holding energy in the universe in particles. So much so that how in the fuck can you do spell work if you have so many satellites in the air? But you're worried about water language, which the satellites affect the water. In a minute, because of this energy, this Don Kessler effect, the Kessler syndrome, is going to be Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and Poltergeist. See, that's what's wrong with social media right now. We're in Honey, I Shrunk the Kid and Poltergeist. They have pulled us into the crystals. They've pulled us into the media. They've pulled us into the television. They have pulled us into the satellite. We're like the energies, the little character in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. You know, Mike Tavey? And he wanted to be on television, the cowboy, and next thing you know, he's there. Well, this energy here, this Kessler syndrome, pulls you in, and then you wondering why you're able to talk to some of these entertainer people on social media, because they pulled you in it and they pulled them into us. Pandemic. We so silly. We didn't even know that we were listening to Chinese phone farms. They call troll farms. You up there arguing with a fucking troll bot. It's not even real. It's not even human. Because they didn't pull you into the Kessler syndrome. They didn't pull you into the universal. So that's why I said laws of the air, maritime. Laws of the satellite. They have fucking trolls. You up there getting fucking blocked on Instagram from a troll. You didn't even know you was under poltergeist. You didn't even know. You guys are the incredible shrinking woman. That's how they have you. They got you guys so fucked up, they done sat up and deleted MTV's whole history from the 80s and 90s. They're trying to erase history, let alone anything dealing with Generation X. They want you guys to look at surreal life. The fucking Macy Gray on it. Did they let her out of her cage? Out of her room? Did they? Allegedly? College Hill with Saucy Santana? Tamar? Black China? What the fuck we looking at? Why would I look at Tamar when I just went back and listened to her 911 call when she allegedly committed suicide? Is this even Tamar? Because according to that, it doesn't sound good. It sounds very eerie. Why should I look at a woman who then sat up and tried to kill herself, allegedly? She has mental disorder. She needs to be off. That's an energy. I don't want to be pulled in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. That's spell work. We're looking at a woman who tried to commit suicide when in reality, she needs mental health help. She needs to get unsoul mounted. She's had so many things mounted on her. We don't know what the fuck is going on here. Why am I going to look at Saucy Santana when I just seen his ass running down the street with snot and shit and saliva just dripping out of his nose and mouth? What the fuck are we looking at with these people? What type of energy are they generating to us under pandemic? Why am I looking at Black China? If she supposed to be Christ-like, what the fuck is she doing on College Hill? That's the real reason why they fucking took off probably the Real Housewives of Atlanta, because they need to bring in all this other dumb shit. You guys want me to talk about the BET Awards? You mean the Section 8 Awards? The Project Base Awards? The Subsidy Awards? The WIC? Paper food stamps? AKA EBT? Better known as BET? The fuck? What you want me to say about that madness? I ain't got shit to say. Because you niggas condone it. You condone it because most of you guys want to be on there. You love that spirit. I was looking at fucking Scar Lip and they had her looking like a fucking bat. The Mothman Diaries. The fuck? And we all know she's schizophrenic, allegedly. What kind of spell work is that? Do you understand? You may not know those people, but if you're looking at them, do you understand that their energy generates? Do you understand social media creates more of a closeness? The energy that's in it, you are in it. You are them and they are you. What the fuck Bobby Jones was doing and who in the fuck does he owe? What the fuck was that shit with, what's her name, Victoria Monet and fucking Teyana Taylor, Michael Jackson, two Virgos, Michael Jackson and Beyonce alike? What the fuck was Usher talking about? Why in the fuck is Will Smith doing a Puff Daddy energy? I didn't even look at it. I just looked at the pieces. What the fuck is that with Sexy Red? She's a behavioral problem. She's an IEP. This is spell work. The senior vice president of talent, what's her name, Bobby Reed, was on social media for BET looking for new talent on social media. That's how desperate they are. Where in the fuck is Tyler Perry? They're using black people to create a new social, a social crediting system. That's all what this is. They're using black people and certain energies of us to tear it down. So what they're doing is making it worse, making it bad, to just clean it up. People are more worried about censorship. No, it's just going to go back to the fucking 80s. It's just going to go back to a certain energy. They always use black people to create a new foundation, a new path. So what they did was pull what I'm going to call the Miley Cyrus effect. All these niggas are acting like Miley Cyrus. It's like an overboard. They're using gay people. They're using the ballroom scene. They're using black people for them to recreate the energies. And we're so stupid. We're so desperate. We're so much under the pandemic that we don't even get it. It's a cold path. Social media scoring. That's all it is. They use us for everything. What's up with Teyana Taylor? How in the fuck did she get all that shit from her husband? How in the fuck do you get 4 houses, all the cars, $1 million settlement, in addition to $8,000 a month in child support and him paying for private schools, and she fucking get the cars? What the fuck? That doesn't sound right to me. For their divorce, it doesn't sound right to me. My question is, what the fuck did he have to pay off? What did he do to shut her ass up? And I'm about tired of T.I.'s daughter and the other little girl, Tiny and Toya. We're going to stop playing with them. What the fuck is going on with Angela Simmons? They broke as fuck or something? Because she sold. And what was going on with that what's his name, that Fulio? How his face was shot off. That was bad juju. Them entities and spirits came back on that ass, huh? Meanwhile, his mother want to do a documentary. Is it Julio or Julio Fulio, the rapper kid? I remember listening to his music a while ago. I said, oh, him. When he did that song at the cemetery. Cause and effect. Revenge, redemption, and responsibility. We have to stop feeling sorry for these people. We have to stop feeling sorry for these people. But anyway, this BET is our fault because they're using us. They're using us to tear down a system to rebuild it. And that's the realities, and that's just what it is. Now, what you gonna do? Let me get off subject for a moment. As I'm talking about cemetery, I was just telling somebody, I said that's the number one thing that you don't want Mexican people in, or Latino people in. And I'm talking about Mexicans in the cemetery and cooking. In the cemetery, they be doing all type of work. They do. With other people's bodies. No, I don't want to talk about that BET anymore. Because we tolerate it. Did you hear Teyana Taylor lying like fuck talk about God, 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 God in her speech? She was in that Vogue France, whatever was going on in France. She was dancing her ass off. Remy Ma's son then got caught up, huh? I was telling somebody, it appears to me, I said, he must be a what I call a hit kid. I said, some of these kids are hit kids. I said, anybody ever think about that? Some of them shootings that be happening. Who done told on him? What happened? Allegedly. That ain't my business. I'm just talking. Anyway, this is Weird Renegade Witches blog. It is up when you want some real motherfucking work done.